Trimming cases is probably one of the most time-consuming processes when it comes to reloading, and certainly one of the things that when I talk to people, they really just want to get over with. There's a large part of reloading that I find very relaxing and enjoy, and it's very cathartic in many ways. But for a lot of people, the trimming your cases isn't one of them, and that's because, you know, in the past you've had some kind of a hand crank system, incredibly accurate, but incredibly time consuming. Locking your brass in, having a pilot to guide it on, you know, you're turning, and then undoing it. I mean, it can literally take hours to do, 100 pieces of brass. Your other option has been to pick up, a $500 or $600 fully motorized indexing off the shoulder system, just all the bells and whistles, and they are amazing. I have one, I use one, but it's also $500 or $600, and there really haven't been too many things in the middle. There's been some motorized trimming units, but they really are, for the most part, just improved versions of the hand crank. So when I picked up this Lyman Case Trim Xpress, I was really excited. And take a look at it. You've got a variable speed control here, and it moves really from almost a crawl, you might even not be able to see it on camera here, to a pretty good speed. Inside you've got what amounts to an end mill. It's a carbide cutter. You've got this shroud, which allows you to mount this. You can mount it on a wall sideways, trim here. You could move your shroud so all your trimmings come down. You can certainly have it this way. You've also got 1/1000th increments as designated by these white lines. So you can see real easily 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. I mean, it's really, really simple, and I really like that. You can also see as you turn, it'll be harder in the video, obviously, but you can see this whole mechanism is being pushed out by me turning this wheel. And so it really allows for an easy setup when you go to do your brass. So the whole system relies on, there's a little spring in here, and then there's your cutter. And Lyman includes a really good assortment of these bushings. You will notice this one's a little different. I actually bought this one separately to do my 284 brass with. It is a little odd that the ones that come with it have this nice white printing on them, and then this is engraved. I don't know if these were an earlier production that came with the unit and they've now gone to an engraving so it lasts longer. I'm not really sure. I plan on taking some white out and just filling in that 16. But, I mean, all the ones that are in orange are what come with the system. So everything from your 223s, 222s, 308, 243, 308, 7 mag, 338, 300. I mean, really, think of a popular caliber. It's on here. Now number 16, which is what I bought, is strictly for 6.5 284 or 284. Your 30 nozzlers and some stuff like that are down here, 338 Lapua. So there's obviously some stuff that you may need to buy. Great thing is, $10. Now what these bushings do is they allow for your brass to index off of the shoulder. So you get a really consistent depth of cut that's relative to the shoulder, which is really important. So you're not just doing a cut from the base to the front, you're getting a true shoulder to top of the neck cut on these. So we'll go ahead and screw one of these in. Now the spring is important because it's going to allow for a really nice plunge cut on this that gives you a ton of control. So you can see right here how there's a lot of spring in here. And even when this is threaded down, all of this gap is still active inside of there. So you can see here that it actually still lets you spring down. Now to get going, you're just going to turn it on, and you'll notice that I'm pushed in all the way right now and nothing's happening. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start bringing the cutting head closer, and you can hear a nice, just a really nice trim. Now obviously I would want to know what my measurement needs to be, but the fact that I can just really easily start getting a cut on this Measure it, adjust it a thousandths, measure it, really is critical. And it's really a great, really great trim. You know, I'm wearing latex gloves. I cannot for the life of me cut the latex with the edges. Now, it's not to say that you don't need to deburr and chamfer these, because you do. But the point being, it's a really, really solid cut. I mean, I'm really trying to dig into my gloves, and it's not happening. There is a little bit of debris. You might have seen it fall out when I turned it upside down because I forgot to dump it. But let's do another one and see. So, real dark and dull. And I'm just going to give it a nice push. Done. I mean, literally done. A little bit of brass. This shroud really does a great job too. I did a ton of brass earlier, and it really made a nice pile, maybe a 10-inch little stream here. It wasn't even that much, really, about 6 inches. Really nice pile. Again, really clean cuts, really flush, and really accurate. I did quite a bit of measuring with these. The 1,000ths increments, there's obviously going to be a little bit of, you know, is the white line here or here? The window that you're looking through is a beveled window, so it is a pretty tight margin of error, but there's still some margin of error that you could make in here and still see the white. But, you know, that's what calipers are for, and that's why you should be taking measurements anyway. But this really gets you on the job faster in terms of, like, boom, I've got it set. Okay, I need a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. I have to say, I love this setup, even compared to my Gerard, which is, you know, $500 or $600 by the time I'm done with parts. The one downfall of the Gerard, for all the money that you spend, is that it's a really clunky setup system. It's a gorgeous operating system, but you're threading a die on it and using a lock ring to tighten it down, and there's always a certain amount of slop that happens with the Gerard. This part just blows me away in terms of its usability, because it's just, I mean, boom, adjust, adjust, adjust. It's where I need it. I'm done. I've never used another system that was as fast in every aspect. So this really almost has me thinking about replacing my Gerard, which I never thought something would. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, it's the truth, because it is so darn simple to utilize and to get an accurate trim on. So we'll do one more for fun here, but you know, nice dull edge, nothing fancy going on. And this one, you can see, just didn't need quite as much, so that's okay too. That's the beauty of trimming like this, is you're indexing off the shoulder. There's plenty of times in my experience where you're going to have some brass that trims more than others. It depends on the flow, depends on, you know, some other factors that happen. So this one just very lightly grazed it. This one was obviously a deeper cut, but off the shoulder, identical. So if you're in the market for something in terms of your trimming, this would be very tough to pass up, especially for the $65 price point that they're asking. I'll show you kind of what they tout as the reasons, but you know, they claim 15 cases per minute. I think that's pretty reasonable, to be fair. If you have everything set up, it's very doable to be at 15. I really do think so. And that's right on par with my $600 unit. So for $165, very tough to beat. Very rare these days for a company to include this many accessories. You know, my experience is most companies might include one bushing if you're lucky, or they include no bushings or whatever is needed, a pilot or something like that, because they want you to go out and buy exactly what you need. The fact that they cover probably 85% of the major calibers out there is just phenomenal. Because at $10 a piece, if I went to go, I'll buy these, you know, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 of these. I mean, that's $100 in bushings right there. So, you know, in a really weird way of looking at it, you're only paying $65 for the trimmer unit itself. You know, one could argue, well, I'd rather pay $65 and then go choose my bushings, but I don't think you'd ever see this for sale for $65 on its own. I mean, there's manual trimmers that are a lot more than that to begin with. So I think it's well worth it. I really look at the bushings as a freebie, a value added that's well above the others. So Looking for a case trimmer, looking to improve the system you have already, I really, really love this one.